right? Seano McFarland.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Yes, thank you.
We're here in Studio City.
Mm-hmm.
They've lifted the mask mandate for LA County.
Yes.
We may be entering a new era in our daily lives, which would be pretty cool. But the most important thing about today is that you and I get to sit down and have this conversation.
Oh, that's thank you. That's kind.
Tell me before we start.
Okay.
What was the last movie that made you cry?
Nightmare Alley, the Bradley Cooper movie. I might be saying it wrong, but yeah.
The Bradley Cooper with
Kate
Blanchett. Yes, yeah. What was it about it that made you cry?
It's a movie about alcoholism and the extraordinary lengths will go to continue in that darkness. And this person who basically turned everything around so he could die. It's just really, very rarely in films do I actually believe it, but I actually believed it.
You believed it.
I believed it.
I need to see it now.
You need to see it.
Yeah. I mean, not that I need to see dark, but I do sometimes. Sometimes I need to be reminded.
Little reminders.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I am Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and this is The Only One in the Room. But I'm never the only one in this room because my boyfriend, producer, and co-host, Scott Slaughter, who I call Hun, is here as well.
Hi, honey.
Hey, Hun. That always cracks people up, right?
It does, doesn't it? I love it.
I like that.
I think if it doesn't crack you up, I'm suspicious.
Right? You're not listening if it doesn't crack you up. So, like I said, we were talking to Seano McFarland.
How cool.
Yep. He is a life coach to change agents as well as an addiction and trauma specialist with an international footprint. In addition to working with former child soldiers in Uganda and genocide survivors in Rwanda, Seano has spent over 2 decades building Shell Avenue. Shell is a spiritual growth incubator helping people from all walks of life, addicts, ex-cons, trauma survivors, individuals, couples, families, executives, and companies shift their narrative and recover their primary purpose in life. So again, welcome. This is wonderful. Like, we could just talk about all of that.
Yeah, we could.
But first I want to ask you how you identify.
Seano.
Seano. Okay.
Yeah,
I love it. That's nice.
That's it.
I love it.
Keep it simple.
And then I want to shout out Ben Leyland.
Oh, God bless. Thank you, brother. We're here because of you, man.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. He connected us with last week's guests, Apollo Ono. He has talked to me about you for a while, and you know, the idea that we could bring you in and have you on the shows. I was just like, are you saying that we could have Seano here on our show? And he's like, I think so. I think I can make this work.
No, he's changed my life. He's a great human being.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Special cat.
Yeah, he is a special cat.
He's a special cat.
I love saying special cat.
Yeah, it's
or
good.
quirky cat, or like that's an odd cat. But yeah, he is really special. What were you gonna say?
No, it's just nice to be here. I'm feeling it.
Yeah,
it's cool.
All right. So what I decided, which was, you know, it was so difficult. There's so many aspects of your story that are so special and so powerful and so important. I didn't know where to start and what to have you tell during this hour that I have with you. So what you and I talked about at the beginning was we're talking, you know, this theme about ending generational trauma.
Yes.
I love the story on your site about your son, so that's where we're going to end up. But I want to start with your dad, who you described to me as kind of a Willie Loman type. Like, that mean he was like insecure, like a dreamer?
Willie Loman is based on the great American classic by Death of a Salesman.
Yes.
And Willie is a dreamer, flim-flam, kind of a hustler. And my dad is kind of that guy, kind of an aging gigolo. And
Okay. Flim-flam isn't a word you hear a lot nowadays.
No, I don't know. It's back in my consciousness. I like that word, though.
I do, too. I love
He's
old-timey.
a flim-flam man.
Yes.
Yeah.
All those old-timey expressions. So you were a runner when you were a kid.
So God gave me strong legs, and I was a long-distance runner and accomplished at 11, 12 years old. And my dream was to, follow Steve Prefontaine, University of Oregon. That was it. He was the man. He was the James Dean of cross country, and I liked what he was doing, and that was my plan.
Yeah, I remember that movie, Prefontaine.
Yeah, it's good.
And I remember kind of that era. So you were you were hooked in to what he was doing, and that's the path you wanted to follow.
Energy. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Right. So your dad left though when you were young. Tell me about that whole thing.
So there's a great line in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous about the woman who really understood. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my dad always had the woman that understood. It wasn't my mother. And one day I have a brother, Sloan, and a sister, Tori, and he sat us all down. He said, I'm going to leave the marriage and I'm going to do my thing. And I loved my father. It broke my heart. And
how old were you?
I was 12.
You were 12. Okay.
And he left that day, and as I told you, I ran after him for about 4 miles. Which is
could you still see his car?
Yeah, I could still see it.
You were running fast.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
He would stop, and I'd keep running. And because he wasn't a right kind of man, which means he didn't pay child support or alimony, and we were kind of middle classes, and we moved to not a very desirable part of town. And
after he left,
yeah, and it was food stamps and government housing, and it was funky, scary.
Mm-hmm. And so now you're 12 years old, and your whole lifestyle has changed as a result of this event where your father left,
right?
Your mother and your 2 siblings,
right?
What happens to you next?
What happens? It's nice that I can actually smile about this,
mm-hmm.
right? What happened was I was in a playground. There's a playground, and there's a 3500 North 75th Street, the Vivienda's apartment complex, and I was kidnapped by some people, and I was used for child pornography, and I was tortured, and the people that kidnapped me threatened to they put a gun in my head, threatened to kill my brother and my sister if I ever told anybody. I believed them, kept that secret until I was 27. Arizona at the time had the highest child abduction rate in the country. And since then I profiled kidnappers for various law enforcement agencies and different people, and without a doubt they were going to kill me. That I had an angel that night.
How did they take you off the playground?
They offered me some money and drugged me. It was a tag team. It was a very savvy guy and his friend, female friend.
And then how long did they have you with them?
A couple days. And because at the time I started running away, it was not, and because I was a good actor and I learned that, and my life changed completely that day.
So you were able to go home?
I was able to go. I woke up drugged in a bowling alley.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was it open? Like, were people bowling around you? That's weird, right?
What's up with that kid over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of vaguely just remember kind of coming to, and there was some food, and I kind of just sheepishly got out of there.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't exactly, I don't know what that's like, but I know that feeling that you just described, that sheepishly waking up, confused, don't really know what happened, and just getting away, right? Getting away. So you went home.
I went home to my mom, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was scared.
You didn't tell her?
No, I did not tell her.
Yeah.
No, she just thought I ran away again.
Wow. You remembered everything that happened while you were there?
Pretty much.
Damn. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, but tell me.
Well, I'm going to tell you something here, because we're going to talk about any generational trauma, but this is really important, and this is why I'm here today, and this is why I get emotional just coming in here and feeling the spirit of what you guys are doing here and how blessed I am to be here. This is something I came up on my own. Shame on them for treating me that way, and shame on me for staying that way. Okay? And nobody can blow my light out unless I give them permission. And the only person that needs a change is Seano McFarland. And once I really learned that, that's when my life completely changed.
Yeah.
Because I felt if I, wasn't kind to myself or did harmful behaviors, they won. And I wasn't going to give them that victory.
Right.
So
you've now had 2 traumatic life events. You're a young kid. You're a child. Drugs and alcohol come into play at this point?
Yeah, so what happened, I stopped running. I just lost the spirit to run, and that was really hard because I was, talented, and And one time, oh man, I started selling my body on the street, 12 years old, mostly to men, sometime. And I remember the track team bus going by as I was walking the strip, and that was a tough day. Mm. And I started drinking 12, 13 years old.
So that's a really powerful image, first of all, of being a kind of leader in this event, as a runner, being somebody that probably people had high hopes for, having that athletic ability and having honed it for as long as you did, and then literally watching your life go by.
Literally.
Right? You were selling your body to make money for what?
It wasn't about the money.
It wasn't.
It was about, because it's probably, I don't know if it's probably not appropriate to talk exactly what happened to me. But two things happened. That was, I was severely traumatized, and that was the first physical experience I ever had. So my wiring, and I became hypersexual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just wanted somebody to tell me I was okay. And the shit I would do for, a jumbo jack was just pretty bad.
Right.
I just didn't like myself.
Yeah. So you were doing this, were you living a double life? Were you also at home?
Yeah, I was at home, and I was pretty...
You were in school?
I'm in school.
Wow. So you're in school, you're at home, you look one way to your mom, who's obviously very busy.
She's doing her thing, trying to get things. And, I just... we find badness. Darkness finds darkness.
Yeah. Then I'm going to fast forward a little bit to, did you find cocaine before you got into kind of the business of it? Did you like it?
So you and I are the same age. So this was kind of a magical time in the world. It was MTV, Swatch watches, Madonna.
Yes.
Right. And the English New Wave. It was just a good time, and cocaine was very popular during that time. And
very popular.
I found it, and I said, wow, this is good. But then I thought also I could probably make a lot of money with this.
Okay, so you liked it, but it inspired you to let's get some Skrilla.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
So you were in Arizona still?
I was in Arizona.
So is that where you made your money with cocaine?
Well, I started that in my little beeper.
So wait, how old were you then, the time we're talking about?
So I would have been 17, 18 years old.
Okay, 17. So you're still a kid.
I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had a little pager, and you had this idea, and you probably knew enough people, right?
Yeah.
Were you dealing?
Yeah, I was dealing, and then one thing led to another, and I had a Cuban girlfriend, and we were in Miami, and she introduced me to some people, and they dug me, and one thing led to another, and now I'm smuggling all around and, getting in all kinds of trouble.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you graduate from high school?
I graduated from high school.
You graduated from high school, so you have some formal education.
I have formal education. Yeah.
But that type of work, I'm putting that in quotes, that you were doing then, that requires a different kind of smarts, right?
Big time.
So what did you need to do? What kind of gymnastics did you need to do mentally to be able to do what you were doing? Do you know what I mean?
Sure. The mental gymnastics to be a good drug smuggler?
Yeah. Because we watch Narcos,
Don't get high in your supply.
Don't get high in your supply, yeah.
Try not to get greedy.
Yeah.
Try not to get greedy, and be punctual.
Be punctual. Really?
Honor your word.
Okay. Did you get high on your supply?
Always, but not too high.
Not too high.
Not when you're about ready to get killed.
Right.
I was still, listen, thank God, I was still a little, dorky kid from Arizona,
Right.
What happened, the kidnapping turned me into a dark person, a machine. Mm-hmm. And I was a character.
So you weren't encumbered by emotions?
No, not really.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was pretty fearless. I was pretty fearless. There's a great documentary called Cocaine Cowboys. It's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
So I was right a little bit after that. I knew all those characters out there, and it was a really interesting time to be out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I watched that. I think I watch anything with cocaine in the title.
Yeah, cocaine in Miami during that time
Yeah.
was just kind of a fun time to be
Now,
there.
I was in Miami in the early 80s. I moved, I can't remember. I was there like maybe 84. Did we cross paths? Were you there then or no?
I was definitely there in 84.
Because they were like shooting Miami Vice,
Yeah.
like different places. We were going out with this one guy who is Peruvian, who had Peruvian cocaine that he was smuggling in. Big partier, would like pay for all of us girls to go to like Sundays on the Bay.
Oh, wow.
In all these different clubs. But it was part of everyday everything.
That's what you did.
Yeah, it's just it was glamorous. And there was obviously the underbelly of it, but it could be very glamorous. It wasn't what I think people think of when they think of cocaine now.
No,
Right.
and probably a lot of your listeners are going to be triggered that you said Peruvian flake or gum cocaine. I'm triggered right now, 35 years later.
I am too, man. 14
Jesus
years
Christ,
later.
here I'm going to have a relapse here on your show.
I'll put a trigger warning for the Peruvian
Trigger warning
flake.
for our listeners that are under 30 days of sobriety. This is the part of the segment you don't want to listen to.
That could be true.
I
Yeah.
think that's a cue to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
So, what was your front at this point? Because you
I
had
had a
legit-
limousine company as a front, yeah.
And so, how did that work? Did you have did you drive? You had drivers?
Sometimes I drove because I actually loved doing it.
Yeah?
And I loved it. And I had, I put some people to work and stuff. And yeah, that's what my front was.
Wow. And then, so who smuggled the dope in? Was that somebody you paid, or did you do that as well?
Well, I paid people to do it, and then sometimes I did.
Because you like that part too.
Yeah, it was scary. I mean, you can't do it now, but there was a time where you could strap a couple kilos on your body and travel.
You would fly like commercial into
Different airports.
different airports with cocaine strapped to your body.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, and get a kilo up here and a kilo on the back.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, obviously, yeah, because it was.
You need a
it
few
was way
drinks on the
different.
plane, by the way, to kind of make that flight. Just kind of.
Yeah, I
Because
bet.
everybody's an undercover agent. The nun and 17, definitely a coffee. Yeah, it's a little tricky.
So you need to like calm everything down.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous just thinking about that.
I don't miss that.
So then we talked about the DEA.
Yeah.
Tell me about their involvement at that point.
They were following me for 2 years.
So you were like in your early 20s now, and they're following you?
Yeah, I was 20. From basically, just call it 19 to 21.
19 to 21.
2 years.
Okay.
They followed me.
And you knew, you didn't know?
I kind of had an idea. I mean, I came out here for the Bruce Springsteen tour, the Born in USA tour.
Out to Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the Coliseum.
Uh-huh.
And I look at my back and I think, oh, we're being followed right now.
Wait, why did you think that?
I just have when you have a traumatic experience like that, there's something that happens sometimes where you get a different level of intuition. I think at the end of the day, it's what makes me a really good therapist coach.
Interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of good things came out of that. I just knew.
You just knew.
Yeah.
Did you change anything?
No.
No. That's it. But you knew you were being followed, but you just kind of stayed on the same track?
I kind of was, I wasn't quite the guy who would be like, the mafia where they see him out front, he comes out, brings him a latte. I wasn't quite that guy.
Yeah.
But I did a couple things, to let them know that I was hip to what they were doing.
And you just kept on keeping on.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely made me a little nervous, but I kept on getting on, yeah.
All right. So wait, what I had down here was you weren't caught in the act.
No.
So they didn't actually ever catch you.
No, they never caught me, and perhaps I shouldn't be proud of that, but...
I think maybe.
Maybe.
Right on? Like
But
a little bit proud.
You got one here, brother.
I know, right?
Good for
I am the
you. She
luckiest.
looks so straight and cool, man. Like,
I'm the luckiest.
Yeah, big time. Big time. So, no, they didn't catch me. Just somebody turned evidence against me. And thank God they did.
Yeah. So this is where I'm a little bit confused of the timeline, because I know that you were hiding out in San Diego.
Yes.
And a friend of yours took a bullet, right?
So
tell me like how that went.
So what happened was I got arrested. There was a contract put on my life. I was hiding out in San Diego.
So you got arrested and then released.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I got bailed out.
You got bailed out,
Yeah.
and then you came out and you were scared.
Yeah, I was scared.
Why were you scared? What did you know?
Well, these guys just didn't mess around, and I just knew what they did. And
You owed them money?
no, I didn't owe them money. They just knew that I got popped, and they didn't trust me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So they were afraid you were going to name them.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get to you first.
Yep.
Before that could occur.
Yep.
So you took off. You went to San Diego, and
Yep.
then what happened?
They say it's a disease of progression, and I got a DUI on a bicycle in Pacific Beach. Why are you laughing at me? You're shaming me. I'm trying to be
so
vulnerable.
good.
Yeah, right?
That's so good.
Yeah.
Of all the things you could have been caught doing,
I was like, we thought you were going
on
to
a
kill somebody or
bicycle.
something. No, but it's just like, it's just not a good look getting arrested on your Schwinn.
No.
It's just a bad look. But it just got really fun. That was like that. And then I went from I'm like a skinny guy. I was like, just like eating anything in a flour tortilla, just drinking and just feeling sorry for myself. And Top Gun was the big movie that year. So I'd go out to Miramar and watch them to do the flight and just cry and go to an adult bookstore and act out with somebody. It was just funky. And so what happened then was the 4th of January, I was coming back to Arizona for the court case. My sister, so I was 22. Tori was 19. She came over with her sponsor and said, Seano, I love you so much, but you're killing yourself. I can't be around you anymore. If you want to come to meeting with me. It's a good old-fashioned 12-step call. And I went, and it stuck.
So January 5th, 1987.
Yeah, and my sister, she stayed sober too, and she has a week more sobriety than I do. She never lets me forget about it.
She was just a week sober?
She was a week sober.
Wow.
So, you never know.
You never know.
You don't need 3 years, 10 years. You can have 30 minutes and help somebody.
That's amazing.
Right, it's cool, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. But you had open cases then, or
well,
no?
So I'm 22 and I'm sober.
Yeah.
And I did not want. I got the gift. I didn't want to drink. And but these court cases and just through a fluke in the law, I got one of my cars back, one of my limousines back, and I got another one, and then I started my company again to support myself. And my run got extended, and these guys, or some guys, came and tied my roommate up, duct tape.
This is still the hit that's been put on you.
Yeah, different people.
Yeah.
And he got scared and hobbled out, and they shot him. And
they didn't kill him.
They didn't kill him. He got lucky and survived.
Yeah.
And then, so.
So were you properly scared at that point?
Yeah, I was very scared.
Yeah.
Because now I didn't have the shield was coming down.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
And yeah.
So this is you're 22 years old.
Yeah, I'm 22.
At that time, and you have had all these traumatic and dramatic life events happening.
Yes.
Some of your doing, to the two that we talked about that were done to you.
Mm-hmm.
And your sister has come and offered you something that you accepted.
Yes.
Which was sobriety.
Yes.
And so now what? You have one of your limousines back by accident. You have, is the hit still out on you? Do you know?
No, so because eventually they arrested them, and then we were able, through God's grace, to make some peace with people.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I bet that's a story too.
Yeah, that's a story too. That's for episode 7.
That's for episode 7. Okay, so tell me then about getting sober. Tell me about what that was like for you.
Well, AA blew my cover. It was like the AA stun gun. Like I just, I kind of fashioned myself a poor man's Sean Penn, Mickey Rourke type character. And they, it's looking at your sweet because he gets it.
He does.
Because he's probably doing the same thing, right? Yeah. And I just saw the people like me there. And listen, the thing that happened, using my good running ability, because I started running back when I was sober again.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
that's such good news.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah.
And after my buddy Barry was his name, got shot, I ran to the Scottsdale Valley Lano Club, and my sponsor, Jay, who used to run the heroin trade in Lower East Side Manhattan, because, who am I
You
going to
gotta have
get?
those credentials, right?
You got to,
Yeah.
who are you going to listen to, right? Because you just,
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of being sober, in my experience, right? This is just me, the right people come, like we're all, for whatever reason, we landed here with each other today.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, man, we're going to do, you ready to do the third step? And I said, yeah, let's do it. And he said, the way we do it, is we hold hands. We get on our knees and we say that. Is it okay if I say the prayer?
Yeah.
Because it's a beautiful prayer that I say every day. And the third step prayer is, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with thee and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, the victory over them. May bear witness those I'd help with thy love, thy way of life may do thy will always. And I started crying for the first time like I've never cried before. And Jay said, hey, man, why are you crying so much? I said, I just don't feel alone anymore. Yeah. So that's really about, getting sober. But there's physical sobriety and then there's emotional sobriety.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part growing up.
I just want to take a moment to honor what you just did.
Okay.
And the emotion that you just displayed when you were saying that. And I know you felt it. Sorry, honey. I always call him out. He's my crier.
Yeah.
When my emotion is inaccessible, his is right there, on the surface. And but you make me well up just then. And I'm just really grateful that you felt vulnerable enough to share that with us. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I do want to talk about your new job once you've gotten sober, answering the phones at it was the Alana Club, right?
I do want to talk about that.
Okay, so it's not a job strictly being, meaning
No,
you didn't get paid for it.
So right, so it's 87. There's no cell phones. There's no, and obviously the world is a different place. And
Right.
I knew early on, the key is to be of service.
Do you want to just tell people what the Alano Club is so that people
The
understand?
Alano Club is a place where there's a 7 a.m. meeting and a 12 o'clock meeting and the 5:30 and the 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
There might be a young people's dance on Friday night. Some places have places to eat. Some people, there's a pool room, and it's a place to come and meet people and have community.
Yes. And they call them clubhouses.
Call them clubhouses.
But it is a place where you can just come and be for however long you need to be.
Whenever you want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you hung out there.
I spent a lot of time there. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And so there was a payphone at the Scottsdale Valley Lano Club, and this person called and said, hey, I really need help. I said, oh, cool. We got, what's going on? And we have meetings here. And he goes, no, I really need to see somebody. I need somebody to come to see me. And back then, people don't do this as much now, but you would do that.
Oh, yeah.
You get a wet one, just go, okay, where are you at?
A wet one.
You get a wet one. We got a wet one here. That's what you would say, right?
Yes.
And, you would go with somebody, you wouldn't. And so I said, oh, all right, man, where are you at? And I wrote the address. Oh, man, this guy's really far away. Okay. I said, okay, but he's just like, okay, show up. That's what. And so I did, and I drove out there. And I knocked on the door, and nobody answered. And I'm like, oh, man, okay. And I was like, what do I do? And I opened the door, and I see him like drinking on the thing, and I'm like, oh fuck, man.
So he didn't open the door.
He didn't open the door. I walked
you opened
in.
It, yeah, and you could see him drinking.
And I could see him drinking. I was like, oh shit. And he was one of the agents that arrested me, and I thought I was being set up.
I'm sure you did.
And I thought, fuck, man, these guys are after me still. Because even in sobriety, my first 6 months, they were shooting long lens me coming out of the Lano Club.
Really?
They were still following me.
Really?
Yeah.
So this was one of the agents that had helped set you up, and he had no idea who you were
No
on
idea.
the other end of that
No
line.
idea whatsoever.
And you show up at his door. He doesn't answer. You walk in. You see him drinking. You recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
He recognizes me, and he's kind of sober up and was a little bit embarrassed. But then oh man, Jesus, so good, right? Once I realized that wasn't happening and this guy was just in his grips,
Yeah.
we just did the most beautiful thing ever. It's just drunk to drunk.
Tell me.
He just drunk, like, brother, what's going on? And he was nervous at first because he thought he was going to lose his job. And I said, I'm still going to do this. I'll hand you off. I get what you got to do, but let's Let's get you sober.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I became buddies.
Mm.
And
Wow.
yeah,
Can I
right.
just like another minute with that? Like, wow.
I mean, I think that like we have to go back and be like, this guy, when he
Right.
was by himself, picked up the telephone,
Yeah.
and dialed a number randomly,
Yes.
and gets you
It
Yes.
gets me.
on
And
the other end.
Who's
Right.
like this eager young kid answering the phone, the
Right.
payphone.
I mean, that's
The payphone.
yeah.
We were talking about this in the car yesterday, and your
Yeah.
dad was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!"
My dad got teary.
Oh yeah.
That's sweet.
But and again, it's really important to understand that this was pre any of the technology that we use nowadays.
Yeah.
So the chances of this are it's even more of a lightning
And it
strike.
was unbelievably, because there's no ways.
Yeah, right. There's no ways. There were Thomas guides, right?
We didn't have Thomas Gun in Arizona
just-
yet. We
oh,
didn't make
just-
it over there quite yet. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. You just had maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you and this guy kind of you connect, and you stay connected after that.
Yeah, we stay connected. I bring him around meetings, and he knew obviously there was an active investigation, and he did something that had to remove himself from it, and I don't remember all that stuff.
He had to like recuse himself because
and then I'm going and I forgot I'd already been in jail before for running a stolen credit card operation. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, good boy.
Yeah, good
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Just
Episode
little side job.
As one must be.
Yes, right.
Yes.
So
you've been in jail for that. So you had a prior.
Yeah, I had a prior, but this is, I was facing 10 years. They had a lot of information on me, and
And this was for the smuggling.
yeah, for the drug
Okay.
smuggling. And so when it came time for my sentencing, I spoke with my lawyer, such a great guy, Larry Kazan. He said, "Saint, listen, I might be able to get you 3, might be able to get you 4. You're probably going to do 5." So I said, "This is it." And I said, "Okay, man." I look back on that. I really do, because I don't know if I was just psyching myself out. I thought, okay, I'm going to live in God's will. If this is, so I'm going to really let it go. And oh man, I guess I'm crying here. But when it came on the day, this is why I love AA so much, because like we love you until you can love yourself, right?
Yes. Yes.
We love you until you can love yourself. And where I came from, like, we show up for people. We, and like, it's especially people that do the work
Yes.
and not beat the system. And there was probably at least 150 people from the rooms there that day. And
Damn.
yeah, it was cool.
Damn. So they packed the
Packed
courtroom.
it. Yeah, packed. You couldn't get it. Every standing room only.
Wow.
And Charlie Priggle. I remember him. Charlie Priggle, senior DA agent. All these people. Boom, boom, boom. And then the guy that I 12-stepped, and then the state presents their evidence, their case, and they want it, and then my lawyer speaks this, and then they said, "Is there anyone else who would like to speak?" And he said, he raised his hand, he pulls his badge out and says, "Your Honor, blah 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 blah. This man saved my life. My kids have a father now. Please don't put him in prison, because I've seen what he's done in the community. He's helped so many people out. Don't put him in prison, please." And I watched the judge, and I could tell he just like took him in. And I said, "Okay, babe, I got a shot."
Yeah, you do. Wow.
Yeah.
What an amazingly courageous thing for him to do.
He put his job on the line.
Yeah.
He didn't have to.
And his reputation.
And his reputation,
Yeah.
big time, because they did not like me. Rightfully so.
He didn't like you.
Yeah.
So what did the judge decide?
He says, "It must be your lucky day today, Mr. McFarland. But if I ever see you again, you won't be so lucky." He says, "Oh man, this is never seen anything like this before." People, you could feel it. The light dropped him. Light's powerful.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, a packed courtroom on a defendant's behalf, it just doesn't happen. And Scott and I were talking about this, like, in what community do you see that besides recovery?
Right.
I think maybe churches, maybe, synagogues, temples, you might see something like that, but it is different. These are people. There's just not other communities that do what we do in 12-step recovery for each other.
Yeah, big time.
You know, I tell a woman that I work with in recovery, she was surprised how many people showed up in the hospital after her surgery. And I said, you showed up for your recovery, so now your recovery is showing up for you.
Big time.
And that's it's hard to fathom.
Yeah.
Because people don't know like what the angle is or what you get. But people show up. The biggest funerals we've been to are 12-step funerals.
Yeah.
You know, where again we were like, one of them I remember it was standing room only. There were, you know, videos set up outside. It was blazing hot.
It was. But I remember saying, I want this.
Yeah.
I want this. Even though,
Yeah.
and I like to think that the impact that it had on you at that moment was as powerful as it was on the other 100 people
I hope so.
in the room. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
obviously,
I hope so.
you're still touched by it and
Yeah.
sharing the story because of it.
So, first of all, thank you so much for that. You told that so well. I mean, and the emotion that I felt, that I'm still feeling from all those people showing up, from, you know, there's just so many points in your story. Your sister showing up for you, you taking those calls, you saving yourself, which you did.
Yes.
At some point you figured you were worth it.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to figure that out, hopefully.
Yeah. What should we talk about next? Should we talk about Shell Avenue or should we talk about your son?
I'll do a little kind of how I ended up in working what we do.
Please,
And,
yeah.
Just a little backstory. So
Yeah.
I moved to Los Angeles in 1990 with, like a lot of people. I wanted to be an actor and did various odd jobs and actually went to the Playhouse West down the street here. It's
Oh,
kind of
really?
funny to drive by that. And
Yeah.
had a janitorial company, and my company was called Mako Janitorial, best damn janitor in the whole world. Clean buildings in the marina. And then one thing led to another, and I got a couple nice commercials. And then my sponsor at the time, Dylan McDermott, was directing a play with Don Cheadle, and he said, hey, listen, I'll have you. You can't be it, but just come audition for it. And I auditioned for it. I got the part. It's called Short Eyes.
Okay.
Won all these awards, put me on the map. I was blessed to work for Jeff Goldblum for many pictures as his driver. He was such an incredible teacher to me, and he got me into the follow-up to Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and I got a nice little part in that. And then my dream was to study with David Mamet and Vermont and do that with William Macy, and I got to do that. So it was 96. I was on top of my game. I'm going back into this movie. I'm 10 years sober.
Yeah.
And I'm riding my bike down to Lake Champlain, and thank God for this amazing experience. I got ran over by a car. Oh
no.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, right? Jeez.
And no DUI this time
No,
on the bike.
stone cold sober.
Wow.
And the guy just...
What happened?
The guy didn't see me, and then so I was paralyzed for a couple of days.
Shit.
And so I come back. I can't do the movie. Now I'm in a halo, which is... you know,
it's the brace that goes it's in your head, and
Yeah. And I knew to be grateful that I was alive and not to be in a wheelchair. And it was a little hard watching the live feeds from Entertainment Tonight from the movie, but I kept it going. And then a buddy of mine at Sony was doing a movie with this basketball player who was getting in a lot of trouble, and once again asked me if I'd just come do a 12-step. And I came with my halo, and he kind of felt sorry.
You came with the halo.
Because
You were like literally an angel, though.
And
great.
I walked into his trailer, and we're rapping about 15 minutes, and I said, hey, man, I don't want to be rude or presumptuous. I said, somebody raped you. And he broke down crying. Him and I became buddies. This NBA team hired me. I went back to UCLA, terrified, and graduated top of my class. Wow. And then I opened up my business, and I've been doing that for 25 years. I've been in private practice.
Damn.
Yeah.
So was it always Shell Avenue?
I started out down on Ocean Avenue. I had a little rent control place there. It started out there, and then 2001 is when we got Shell Avenue.
Amazing. So tell me about that.
Shell Avenue is it's a very special place. It's a pink building. It looks like we brought a little Miami, a little South Beach. It's right down the street from Abbot Kinney, and then there's a duplex in the back where people live. So it's residential living.
Okay.
And we've been
nice area, by the way.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And I own that place too.
Oh, nice.
Which
That's
I'm
even
very
nicer.
proud of that.
You should be.
Because I always say in my 35 years ago I've been breaking into this place.
That's right.
Now I fucking own it. Yeah.
If I break in, I still own it.
It's right.
Right.
But it's It's a holy place. It's a sacred place. And a lot of beautiful things happen there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, but now I want to hear about your son.
Oh, okay. That's the best part.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Dylan Luke McFarland, August 2nd. He's 18 years old. He's never seen me high. He's never visited me in prison.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of funny and cool when I visited my dad in jail or did that, or it's not cool. It's just not cool. It's not sexy. He has traveled around the world with me because I only put him around great people. It's important for him to be around high vibration. From that, he's been traveling since he was 6. I'm no longer with his mother. Mother's extraordinary human being, Nicola Good. She's a photographer. And he's 18 years old.
Yeah.
And since 13, he's had probably 3 or 5 different businesses.
Okay, so just tell me a little bit about that, because I knew that, but I want to hear more about that. How did he start a business at 13?
He's just an entrepreneur, and he just learned how to teach himself stuff. And he started selling shoes, and he started selling clothes, and then he started selling jewelry.
Okay.
And then the New York Times had a thing looking for like the bright young minds of America, and he won one of them and went to China. And when the kids were, having their lunch breaks or whatever, he met sales calls and went, and they thought they're going to meet like some 40-year-old sales rep.
Right.
And this, at the time he was 15, walked in because they took him in, and so he developed these relationships with these companies. So he's way ahead of the drop shipment game.
Yeah.
And he forges relationships, and so he actually made a fortune during COVID about shipping, and he's very savvy around that. Now he's doing furniture.
Wow. Really?
Yep.
At 18?
Yeah, at 18. He bought his Tesla with his own money.
He bought his Tesla with his own money.
Yeah, so he knows about hard work. He knows about community. He knows about service. He knows about God. He knows about prayer. He knows about good human beings, and he knows how to show up.
So these are things that you've not only been able to talk to him about, but you've modeled these things for him.
We've modeled him, right? And
Yeah.
so any generation, so he's not, when he's at Crossroads, he's not worried he's going to get pulled out because the tuition wasn't paid.
Right.
He's not worried about going home and the locks are changed.
Yes. Yes.
It's
things
not
you worried about
all the time.
all the time.
He's safe in this world. He's safe.
He's safe with you, but he's also safe on his own.
Right. So I'm not worried about him. And that's the most, probably the most important thing about my sobriety is I'm not worried. My son, he's going to go off in the world and do whatever, And I mean, last week he flew, his girlfriend's in Boston. She's at Tufts, and on his own dime, got this incredible Airbnb, right? And went out, but he's, there's a chance that he might be at MIT next year.
Wow.
And so he knows about vision, and he knows, and he went to the campus and imagined himself going to the different class schedules. So
Incredible.
yeah, and he's sweet.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're proud, and you should be. But even more than that, I see that it's not just pride, it's the glow, like that light, like that this is good, right? You're giving him all these tools that you didn't have. You weren't given, rather.
Right.
You weren't given the same tools. You were able to provide tools. And as they say in our program, you were able to lay some stuff at his feet that he picked up on his own, right? Mm-hmm. And use them because he watched you use them and watches how you did things. And
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Yeah, it makes me so happy. It's really cool.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we have pretty extraordinary kids. I'm proud of our kids.
I hope so.
But it's it is something to have, like my parents were both molested. They were both beaten. They were both locked away. They were both tortured by their families. They didn't pass that along to me.
Right.
Which is amazing. Amazing. That what they experienced did not come to me in any way, shape, or form. I only know because they told me when I was older what had happened to them. And So they broke that generational trauma that had happened to their parents and to their parents before them. Not exactly that same way, but those were the ways that you operated in those families. And no longer. I didn't pass that along to my children. I didn't pass along what they had experienced. And so when I read about your son, I was like, look at this.
Yeah, how about that, right?
This is how this works.
That's why we're sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And that clarity to see that and appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so blessed. I can't, it's so good.
This is a question that's going to be exclusive to our Patreon listeners. So if you're not a member of our Patreon, please join so you can hear the answer to this next question, which is, I want to hear about some of your success stories at Shaw Avenue. Tell me about some of them. Tell me.
Well, there's so many.
Yeah,
I mean, no,
pick a few.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
I mean, because, one of the people that's on your website is Mike Tyson.
everybody wants to talk about the champ.
Yeah.
So I don't. Here's the thing. I don't talk out of school with my clients.
Sure.
But, no. But hang on. But with Michael, because he mentions me in his book.
Yes.
I'll talk about Michael. I just had dinner with him last night, and it was so beautiful. We've been together a lot. We've been through a lot together. And it's about trust.
Yeah.
And
It is.
my thing is about trust and about eradicating shame. And when I met Michael, he was getting ready to go back to prison in Arizona, and he was probably 330 pounds. He's very overweight. And we would go to a restaurant, and he would think everyone's going, look at that big fat N-word. And it was a tricky time in life. And so, because he trusted me and because he knew I loved him in a very special way, we devised a system where when he would get triggered like that, this is the champ, right? Baddest man on the planet. He would grab my hand, and that was my signal.
Yeah.
And I would say, Michael, you're okay. Everything's cool here. And then in the African tradition, we would butt heads and tell each other we love each other.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Right?
It's really beautiful. And I love the silent signal down there that nobody else needs to know about.
But he had to ask for help.
Yes.
You got to ask for help.
Right.
You got to live in consultation. And so Michael's not, he's plant-based, and he's changed his
He is?
Yeah.
So
No, he's
You're
good.
telling people that story.
Yeah, there you go. And he's still a character, no doubt about it. But you're not going to be reading about Michael going on some crazy, insane, dope trips anymore.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I think we have to end now.
Okay.
I don't want to.
I know, right?
But I actually feel very like I had a really satisfying meal.
Oh, good.
And I could still eat a little bit more, but
Okay.
I can leave
just
it there.
yeah.
And let it process.
Yeah.
And digest. You are amazing.
Oh,
and
no,
I'm
that's cool. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Yeah, it's
so
awesome.
grateful you came out to
No,
do
it's
this
a
in
blessing.
person. We knew.
Yeah, we knew I had to be here.
Yes, you had to be here. So
Yeah.
thank you, Seano.
Thank you,
Yeah,
you
thank you,
guys.
Seano.
Okay, bye. Hi, I'm Seano McFarland, and I'm the only one in the room ending generational trauma.